Do powerful emotions influence energy, attract entities, or even tear open portals? In Stranger Things, fear, trauma, and grief often seem to trigger supernatural events. But in real life, some claim that intense emotional states can warp reality or awaken psychic abilities. So in this Stranger Things inspired episode, we're asking, can emotions really act as catalysts for the strange and unexplainable? We'll use tarot to explore the hidden energy behind our strongest feelings and whether they hold power to shape our world. Let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time on my channel. We're going to start off right away with the Stranger Things inspired episode 8 with question 1. Can emotions alter energetic fields or the environment? We're starting out with oracles and moving on then to tarot for more detail. So let's see what this first card has to share. Can emotions alter energetic fields or the environment? We have the Bone Collector. This is definitely something that you would notice. Definitely something that you would notice. The Bone Collector is always a card of detail for me. Very observant people. Very detail-oriented people. So yes, this is something that is going to be very noticeable. Emotions altering energetic fields or the environment. Then we have It's a Wonderful Life. So it can be an energetic field that makes you feel on top of the world, like everything is going just as you wanted it to. That's definitely something that will be noticed. Your mood in general is going to be noticed. The happy that you have plastered on your face is going to be noticed. The environment is going to feel light and airy. Then we have A Horse with No Name. This is emotions that make everything feel uncertain. So the energetic field, you really can't put your finger on. There's something, but you just don't quite know what it is. You can feel it. And then the environment around you feels very, I'm going to say almost foreign. Even though it's very, very familiar, it feels almost foreign. Then we have The Butcher's Wife. There are times that you may feel as though your emotions are very mystical. You can't even really explain them to yourself, but they just feel like, it almost feels like you're a different person altogether. And it makes the environment, the frequency of the environment feel very magical. As though you were in, let's say, a Harry Potter movie. It makes you feel kind of like that. A League of Their Own. Everybody has their own emotions, and the way that they emote is completely different. So in A League of Their Own, you can walk in feeling on top of the world. Somebody else can walk into the same room and feel very confused or unsure, uncertain. Another person can walk into a room and be feeling very mystical, very magical that day, as though they're a being from somewhere else and not really themselves. So everybody has their own energetic fields from emotions at any given time. Outbreak. Solitude. And the whole point is if you have a bunch of people in a room together, the environment is going to be quite chaotic because everyone came in with something different. Something different happened in their morning that didn't happen in yours, and that happened to you in your morning did not happen to them. So the emotions are very, very different. The secret here is to remain calm when you're in that kind of a situation. When you notice that your environment is very kind of chaotic, electric in some spaces, chaotic in another, very, I'm going to almost say nitpicky in another, which would be the detail-oriented. The best thing to do if you find yourself in this kind of a situation, this kind of environment, is to try to go off someplace by yourself for a few minutes, or if nothing else, just close your eyes. And if you have, I don't know, a place, if you're one who meditates and you have a specific place that you go to for peace, do that. If that's not the case, then just go in and breathe a few times deeply. Count to 10 maybe, and see if that helps you with dealing with all the emotions that you encounter. All right, so let's see what the tarot has to add to this. We have Judgment. Those that are very detail-oriented, or those who are very tuned in to everything going on around them, how other people are feeling and the emotions that are washing over them from any given person, any given place, these people have to be very careful not to be judgmental. They just have to attempt to assess the situation and try to go with the flow, at least to the best of the ability. Judgment is a water card, also a fire sign, just depends on, or a fire card, depends on who you are and how you read. To me, it's a water card, which means going with the flow. Queen of Scoops, or Queen of Pentacles. This is an ultimate place to be. This is feeling good about yourself, feeling good about life in general, just feeling wonderful. So it's a wonderful life. And that's what you put off. I mean, just her demeanor in this card and her facial expression, right? She feels good about life. So that's what her environment is going to be like around her. Page of Dice, or Page of Swords. Yeah, these are people who are very uncertain. Their mental capacities at that moment are very childlike, not very fully formed. So they're just not really comfortable or bringing into a room something that's going to make other people comfortable. Ten of Pentacles with the Butcher's Wife. This is very, very similar to the Wonderful Life and Queen of Pentacles, but this is a little bit more magical and mystical. You're not maybe really sure why you feel as good as you do, but you do. The Hermit. Yes, everybody's in a league of their own. They bring something, everybody brings something different to the party, so to speak. Nine of Spokes, or Nine of Cups. You just have to try to remain calm. This is going to be a very dynamic energy with so many different things coming at you. If there's a group of people in a room, you just have to try to hold it together. kind of smooth, well, as it says, go with the flow. Don't be judgmental. Just go with the flow and do it as smoothly as possible. And then we have the Devil. Yeah, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling as though some of this is taking over who you are, you need to go and have that bit of solitude. Even if you're, let's say, in a meeting and the air in the room is very thick and you feel as though it's like sucking your air out of you. The emotion in the room is just so thick. That's when you need to go off on your own for a little bit. So let's say you have a booklet in front of you for the meeting. You can look down and close your eyes, and it's going to look as though you're looking at the booklet. Give yourself at least to the count of 10 to get back to a semblance of calm so that your power is not removed, not taken away from you, and you're not feeling overwhelmed from everything that's going on in the room, all the emotions. Okay, so let's get this picked up. And it's a little slower process for those who aren't familiar with me. Little slower process. Stranger Things deck has very, very thick cards, and they're not easy to shuffle. So if I don't shuffle them well, we could get a lot of repeat cards. However, by doing it this way, when repeat cards come, I know that they're actually meant to come. And I do the same thing with the Oracle. Just kind of tuck them in to the deck. Again, just so everything is mixed. And repeat cards, I know then, are meant to come out. And they do. Kind of at the exact appropriate time they're supposed to. All right, so question 2. Which emotions carry the strongest creative or destructive power? I think we can probably all guess at that, but let's give the cards a chance to tell what they think. Which emotions carry the strongest creative or destructive power? We have the Butcher's Wife. Again. To me, this is the creative power. She's kind of using magic here, so I feel like this is the creative power. Let's see where we go from here. I know there's more to that card, but we need some context. Going my way. The strongest creative power, it looks like, is when you go your own way. You're not following somebody else. You're not copying somebody else. You are being the authentic you, who you're meant to be, and doing things your way, creating your way. Ghost. Emotions of loss. Loss of somebody that you love, loss of a pet, loss of, well, your home, loss of any kind is one of the most destructive powers that there is. So we have creative power and we have the power of loss. And I'd say that Ghost goes with I Am Legend, realizing that you're now alone. You're not with that other person anymore. And this could be, through somebody's passing, or it could be a breakup. It could be anything like that. But that person is no longer in your life. So again, creative, which emotions carry the strongest, creative or destructive power? Creativity in general and doing things your way is very, very strong. Loss, the emotions that go with loss, sadness and despair, literally despair, are very, very destructive. We have ball of fire. Yes, they can burn you up if you allow that to happen. Circle of life and jaws. So it looks like they're saying with the circle of life that if you find yourself in this position and where you've lost something or someone very important to you and you're feeling very, very vulnerable, very, very alone, and it's come at you like a meteor, a way to combat that is to remember that there is a circle of life. There is birth, growth, death. It's the way things work. And to just respect that. Maybe go out and observe the animals, the birds, the just animals in general, the insects, and see how they react to loss. Sometimes a baby bird will fall out of the nest or a cat will grab it, and the bird will squawk and carry on and go crazy for a little while chasing after the cat. However, there does come a point in time where they go back to the nest, to the other babies, and if they're still feeling the loss, they're so busy, it maybe doesn't stay with them quite like it does with humans. With humans, a lot of times, it can just literally eat you up. This destructive power can eat you alive if you let it. I almost feel like like I said, there's something more to this butcher's wife and going my way. I almost feel like they're saying, this is where we want to be, this creative energy. We don't want to be here. Nobody does. Maybe it's being creative when it comes to how you react with loss. Let's see if tarot will give us a little bit on that, because I almost feel like there's, since the question was the strongest creative or destructive power, it is kind of two different things. So you've got this creative power when you do things your way, and then you've got this emotion of loss that does the rest. Obviously, the most wonderful place to be would be here. So let's see what tarot has to add. We have the Five of Strands, or Five of Wands. Yeah, this is a chaotic energy, a chaotic imagination, this card. So if you're like all over the place, you have all these different ideas and all these different sparks coming up, and you just don't know which way to go or which one to do, you can look into this creative side of yourself. Realize what a magic individual that you are, and go your own way. Go whatever way feels instinctively right. The most creative way for you. Which gives you the strongest emotion when you think of a specific spark that you've gotten? Which one makes you feel on fire? And then go that way. The Hermit. Yeah, it might be a way that nobody else goes. It's going your way. Doesn't matter what other people have done. You have a unique perspective here. You have a unique perspective here. You have a unique way of thinking, your way may be quite inventive. 8 of dice or 8 of swords. Yes, this is where the emotion of loss can make you feel as though you are trapped in this mind cage. I'm going to say, trapped in this mind cage. You can't think of anything else but the person that you have lost or the thing that you have lost. That's top and foremost in your head all the time. And it is a very destructive emotion. It has taken away, making you feel alone, but it's also taken away your hope, or is pushing to take away your hope. 3 of dice or 3 of swords. Yeah, it's like a stab in the heart, this emotion. Both of these are very strong emotions. The destructive power seems to have a lot more power to do damage than the creative emotions. Ace of scoops or Ace of pentacles. Yeah, birth, rebirth. we are complete at the 10 and we turn back to the ace for the full potential of life. So yeah, this is discovering that there is a cycle to things. There's a circle of life, and it's as natural as it can be. If you can get to that point, 8 of spokes or 8 of pentacles, practice it, plant the seed, realize, get that going and flowing in your head so you're not eaten alive. You know that it takes work, but work at it, because no one wants to be eaten alive by a destructive emotion. So let us pick up and move on to question 3. There are 6 questions in this episode. Okay, almost there. I have to admit to this being a little confusing, simply because the questions that are here are asking, or at least this one did, asking for 2 different things. So things aren't always as clear as they could be. All right, so question 3. Is intention more powerful when fused with emotion? It's an interesting one. Is intention more powerful when fused with emotion? We have let it be. And it's saying here that whether you have emotion with your intention or you don't have emotion with your intention, let it be as it is. Trust the process. Trust that whatever you're putting your intention into is understood by the universe, whether or not you have emotion to go with it or not. Phenomenon. Yeah, it's pretty magical how things happen when you put intention into something. And again, it's whether or not you have emotion that goes with that intention or not. The phenomenon is going to happen. It's the way the universe works. Groundhog Day. Yeah, you may not see it coming. You may do the same actions, the same everything every day, the same routine, hoping to have something happen because you put intention into something. But it's going to seem like nothing is happening. It's going to seem like the same old every day. Yeah, it's like you're battling with yourself. You're battling with pretty much everything. You're seeing red because things aren't happening the way that you maybe expect them to happen. You're maybe thinking, well, maybe if I'd have said it like this with more emotion, that things would be moving along faster. Then we have the prestige. If you're not battling with yourself, seeing red, so to speak, you might actually see a glimpse of your intention. You might see a glimpse of it. Lucky night. And yes, that will be a lucky moment. And isn't that interesting? Phenomenon and Michael both are John Travolta. One is about an angel that is not a saint, and the other is he has powers. He gains powers. But at any rate, this is just saying that the universe has heard you. You're being given a glimpse on one lucky night. You're being given a glimpse, and this card is here to say that with or without intention, with or without emotion, your intention has been heard. Okay, so if you're seeing red, you may not see this quick glimpse. You may not have that lucky night. You may not even do the intention because you're too worried that, no matter what you do, nothing's going to change. But it's saying, trust the process. Make your intention. It will be heard. It will be seen. It will be taken care of. All right, and then we have the sun. Things will be made clear. Trust the process. You'll be happy with the end result. Queen of Strands or Queen of Wands. It's going to be magical. Going to be something that is very worthwhile to you. Maybe something that you put your imagination into and didn't even realize. 5 of Scoops or 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, you're just going to think that life is not going the way that you expected it to. You did your intention, whether you did it with emotion or not. Now you're having emotion because the magical thing is going to happen whether you had an emotion or not, but you're having emotion here because it's not moving as fast as you expect it to. The Hanged Man. You need to have or just surrender to the process. Trust the process. Surrender to it without feeling the anger. That's when you'll get a glimpse to see that the universe is actually working on things for you. Whether or not you started this with emotion in your intention or not. 8 of Spokes or 8 of Cups. Try to get a grip on these emotions. Just get a grip. And master the waiting, I guess. Master the waiting. Master the feeling calm. Master
Master those emotions somehow. Master your intuition. Trust it. To realize you can see, especially if you're given a glimpse. Walk away from the emotions that are saying, oh, why hasn't this happened for me yet? Walk away from that so that you can see it again and have a lucky night. We're going to go Wheel of Fortune. That would be your lucky day. That's when things could change or would change. And then we've got the Knight of Dice or the Knight of Swords. They're letting you know that the truth of it is everything's active. It's the way that it's supposed to be. Things are being put into action. That's the truth of it. That's what's being communicated. As long as you trust the process. Being happy, of course, being enthusiastic about what you do is going to power it up even quicker, but you're still going to have to deal with the time that it takes. That's all there is to it. Getting angry about it isn't going to help you, and it's not going to let you see. The universe won't let you see if you're angry. So, yeah, you can have emotion with intention, or it doesn't matter. Okay, so picking up here. So if you enjoy my content, please feel free to like and subscribe. Also to share if you know anybody who kind of likes this kind of thing. And also if you would like to share, if you would like to share something that you're seeing in the cards, I would love to have you comment. Or just comment in general, whatever's on your mind that, about this episode. I'd love to read it. Oop. Okay, so we're moving on to question 4. Have collective emotions ever opened a gateway or a rift? A rift. Have collective emotions ever opened a gateway or a rift? I think we're hearing thunder out there right now. Yep. Okay, so we have Clockwork Orange. With Clockwork Orange, this is a movie about someone who creates a lot of destruction, and they are taken someplace and made to, their minds changed, made to absolutely abhor violence of any kind. And then they're put back out into the world where they fall victim then to their own, to the people that they previously hurt. That's what that movie is about. So I'm going to say collective emotions have opened alternate realities or gateways to other places. Refocus. Or backtracking here. This kind of situation, the kind of emotion that starts with this particular movie, that needs to be refocused, because this kind of emotion, I think it's saying, does definitely open gateways and rifts. It's very powerful. It's very strong. And if you don't want to end up in a place like this one, then refocus needs to be done, needs to happen. Stargate. There are many, many, many different places that collective emotions can take us to. refocusing on perhaps places that we really want to be, or being very clear about where we wish to go. Now, again, this is an individual thing that I'm saying. They're talking collective emotions. Dante's Peak. These collective emotions can be explosive for sure. They can take us all places that we never expected to go. So let's say a mass majority of people believe in something specific or are very angry about something. Unless everybody refocuses, we're going to go somewhere. A gateway is going to open, and it could be very explosive. Recognition. Towering Inferno. And Over the Top. This really is something that needs to be recognized. When we're talking about collective emotions and how strong emotion in general can be, when there is a collective of people who are very, very upset over something, that can open a gateway that is not the greatest place to be. If we recognize this, we will not end up at the top floor of a burning building with Towering Inferno. And truly, according to this too, it says one tiny spark becomes a night of blazing suspense. So it begins with one person. One person can set off this chain of events. And it can end up being totally over the top. Where we end up going can be definitely not a place we want to be. So yes, the collective emotions definitely can open up a gateway. Stargate came up right there. It's at the top of the whole thing, saying, yep, there's the gateway. So let's see what tarot has to add. We have Justice. Yes, this is kind of just confirming the movie. Whoever put this person through this mind-changing way believed that that was the right thing to do. That it was justice for this person to be put back out in society and actually losing their lives, I believe, to those that they had previously hurt, who had not forgiven. Five of Strands is Five of Wands. Again, we're refocusing the ideas, the chaotic way of thinking, or it's necessary to refocus that chaotic way of thinking so that it doesn't end up in this situation. Oof. Then we have the Ace of Spokes with Stargate, which is Ace of Cups. The emotion that can open a gateway is unlimited. It can take us anywhere. Collective emotion that is super strong can definitely open gateways we might not be so pleased to go through. I think if the emotion is one of anger, severe anger, you end up in a pretty horrible place. If the emotion is extreme happiness, maybe you end up in a really beautiful place. Maybe that's what it's based on. And this is kind of saying, yes, that's the case. With Dante's Peak, you can maybe end up in a very volatile place, or you can be in a place that's just full of ice cream and rainbows. 10 of Dice or 10 of Swords. It's important that we recognize the emotions that can get us to one place or another when the gateways open. It's important to recognize that gateways do open, but they can also be closed. Truth of it is, they can definitely be closed. Ten of Spokes or Ten of Cups. I feel like this is saying that love can transmute anything. Love can bring us back. Love can put an end to the horrors of a bad place. Love can change this whole scenario. Strong love. And this is kind of the towering inferno can kind of be an aha moment. Aha, if I change how I feel, it changes what happens, because we've already determined that emotions can change the environment. And then we have the Six of Scoops or Six of Pentacles. This is taking, I'm going to say, sharing over the top. Start showing that you care about other people by giving, and then they will give in return, reciprocate. Love is what's going to happen. It will close the gateway or close the rift, or at least change what's going on within. Doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. Ooh, are you hearing that thunder? Okay. Going to pick up here and move on to question 5. Oh, and if you're new here and occasionally you hear strange noises in the background, I have a Chihuahua who lays with me while I do my readings. And when he is sleeping good, he snores a lot. So most of my videos on my channel have Chihuahua snoring in them. Just forewarned. All right. Yep, now it's pouring rain outside. Okay. So how are people unknowingly influencing reality through emotion? Good question. How are people unknowingly influencing reality through emotion? Fried green tomatoes. I believe this is saying that for some people, their emotion brings together people, like-minded people, people with like emotions. So if you remove the one person from the equation that has a specific emotion, maybe those people don't come together. We have this gun for hire. That goes a little darker and deeper. Basically, with when one person has violent thoughts or does a violent action, it kind of sets off a chain of events. You might have one crime and then suddenly there's 2, then suddenly there's 3, and so on. Do they know that their anger or whatever is driving that crime or them to do something like that does it to everyone or makes others want to do it too? I'm sure they don't. They're kind of locked into their own self. A farewell to arms. Let me pull another one here, get the context of that one. Gorillas in the Mist. Yeah, I think with Farewell to Arms, we need to learn how to say goodbye. If you remember, we had the loss card up here earlier on, and when there's a lot of loss, let's say like 9/11 or the floods that happened in Texas, things like that, our emotions are very, very high. And we unknowingly somehow influence reality through that sense of loss. Some people might take on a cause, which influences many people's reality. In this case, not just people, in this case, it was the gorillas. She influenced the reality they lived in by going up there to protect them. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. Nostalgia. And don't fear the reaper. There's going to be those people like Diane Fossey who will jump right in when they're needed. And when that happens, other people often follow suit. They might not go into the jungles with gorillas, but they will help other people. They may help homeless people. They may, it's hard to say, but when one is an example, due to the strong emotion about, in this case, gorillas, other people are going to follow suit. And it might be the people who choose to do that. It might be because of something. Maybe they had a pet. You see the cat on this man's lap. Maybe they had a pet when they were younger that something bad happened to it. So they understand her love for an animal. So they're willing to move forward and do the same thing. It really isn't for us to question the way things flow. If we notice it at all, it's really not for us to question. It's just for us to trust what is happening. Trust the unknown of things. Let go of any fear it's causing these, when you're seeing specific things take place, things in reality that you never expected. Just realize that it's happening because in this case, most of it is love, except for here. Most of it is love and selflessness. I think those are the two things. As we can see, we have more love than we do not great acts. So let's see what tarot has to add. More thunder. Okay, so we have 10 of Spokes or 10 of Cups. Love that brings people together. Eight of Dice or Eight of Swords. Yeah, these are trapped people. Or ones that feel like they have no other way out. Maybe we should say it like that. Queen of Spokes or Queen of Cups. Again, loving, nurturing, caring is what's going to make loss easier. Temperance. When a person finds that thing that holds their passion, which so strongly, and passion is an emotion, holds it so strongly, they're finally balanced. Everything in the world is balanced. And when people feel balanced, other people feel that vibration. And it makes them want to do what that person is doing. 8 of Strands or 8 of Wands. And suddenly, things begin moving very quickly. It's like a chain of events. A chain taking place. The Star. We might be guided to the memories, trying to understand why we are acting so passionately towards something specific. We may be guided to memories that will help us understand why we are feeling what we're feeling and what makes us want to follow that person. Why is it such a strong thing that it influences emotion? And then we have Knight of Spokes or Knight of Cups. And this is just saying, we're supposed to be trusting the unknown, but don't just trust it. Act on the love. Act on it. It might even be possible to change reality with these people with love. All right, so let us pick these up and move on to the last question. Okay. All right, last question. What role does emotion play in psychic or paranormal events? What role does emotion play in psychic or paranormal events? Dragonfly. The loss of someone can trigger psychic ability, or can also, when somebody passes, if a person is so grieved and that past loved one is attempting to come through for, say, hey, I'm okay, I'm really okay, the emotion of grief can block the past loved one from coming through. That grief can, or losing a past loved one, can also open up a person, still living person, and they'll start having psychic abilities. The money pit. One thing to watch out for, obviously, is if you have lost someone, don't, in trying to connect with them, don't spend all of your money going to different mediums and different psychics and that kind of thing. It's a money pit. It really is. All you have to do is to get past some of your grief, and that loved one will come to you. Little Willie. One of the ways in which to get past the grief is to celebrate their lives and to look at why perhaps this person has left at this time. And to celebrate whatever lessons they're leaving this earth plane was meant to give you. That's one way to start loosening up that grief emotion. Then we have Aaron Brockovich. This is believing in what you can do. Believing that you can go beyond the veil. Believing that you're not alone. Believing that there is a cycle to life and that your loved one has gone to a beautiful place. And that as time goes by, grief lessens. And that anger over the situation is not going to change anything. You need to get past the anger, get past the grief to be able to communicate or have any kind of psychic experience with a loved one. Let's see what the tarot has to say here for the tail end. We have the World. Life is complete for them, this person that you've lost, in this physical world. However, they're entering a world of their own. You have a choice to accept what has happened or not to accept what has happened. If you are not accepting, you may be spending your life savings trying to connect with this person through other people. Ace of Dice or Ace of Swords. There can be a lot of truths, so many different reasons that this person is lost to you. You need to celebrate their life. Celebrate anything that you think is truth about their passing. Celebrate truth about their life. Celebrate. There's so many different ways to celebrate. And the Nine of Dice or Nine of Swords, rather than worrying about your loved one, realize how strong you are and how you are capable of beating this emotion without going to a lot of different people. You are capable of contacting your loved one yourself if you can get past the anger, the grief. And we have Queen of Dice or Queen of Swords, and is saying the truth of the matter is you are not alone. You have yourself. You need to care and nurture yourself and heal yourself, heal your grief, heal your anger. Five of Dice. Yeah, don't go to war with yourself. Don't go to war with yourself. Don't go to war with the person who's passed and blame them for having passed away. Don't do this. Life is a cycle, just as the seasons are a cycle. There's going to be a change of seasons. There's going to be people who come and go on a regular basis. Six of Strands or Six of Wands. Yes, recognize that it does no good to be so angry. Start to recognize all the value this person gave to you in this lifetime and celebrate their life. Help yourself get past the anger, the upset, the grief. Help yourself get past that so that you yourself can communicate with your loved one, which you are fully capable of doing, and recognize that going to psychic after psychic after psychic, or medium after medium, paranormal investigators, that kind of thing, it's a money pit. You can do this yourself. So what role does emotion play in psychic or paranormal events? In this case, it brought forward death specifically, which basically is ghosts and so forth. Yes, it is. Emotion is huge, but it can also create one heck of a money pit if you come across the wrong people willing to take advantage of your grief. But if you want to talk to your past loved one, you need to get past that grief. You need to open up and believe in yourself. So that is it for this reading. I have to admit, the questions did not flow in a way that a reading usually does. In other words, it was kind of, the questions just didn't tell a story. So each one kind of had its own story, but it was very confusing for me to read. But anyway, we're done with this. I'll give you a teaser for episode 9 of Stranger Things Inspired. Emotions might open portals, but what if our minds can open doors to each other? Next episode, we dive deep into psychic bonds, shared dreams, and group consciousness. Are our minds more connected than we realize? Join me as we explore these mysterious psychic links with tarot and the oracle. All right, so that is the teaser for next week. On the screen, you will see the schedule for the shows that I do. I do 3 a week. And if you enjoy Stranger Things, you might also enjoy the other 2. So stop by and take a look if you're so inclined. And with all that said, I'd like to thank you so much for being here with me. Hopefully you've made it this far to the end. And again, if you have, thank you so much, because that supports my channel a great deal. And now I have to say goodbye until next week. So have a great one. Take care.